Okay, welcome ladies and gents. We've got a lot to cover today. Everything from the scenes in Germany at the moment right through to UK and unbelievable things as usual, and then through to the US, some of the announcements that have just come out in the US, some things that we knew all along now being made public knowledge just before the elections, interestingly enough. As is the thing that's just happened in Germany. Let's go over this article. Now, I say it just happened in Germany. It's pretty shocking. So I'm not going to go through the whole article on screen because it is some shocking stuff. But this actually took place on Friday night. And it's only really today and maybe a little bit of yesterday that we found out anything about this. It was just a complete media blackout on this event. So this was a Syrian migrant who committed a triple murder at, ironically, the Festival of Diversity. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And it's said, and this is where it gets even more crazy, that this year the festival focused on not on the city's 650th anniversary, but rather this year the event organizers wanted to focus on, let me tell you, on our rich cultural diversity that's now part of Germany. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So they went away from, last year was all about German heritage and history. This year was all about diversity front and center. And then that event took place where they then cancelled everything. And I think this could change a lot actually in Germany very soon, because you've got the local elections about to take place on the 1st of September. So just a few days away now. And then the national event, national election for Germany will be September 28th. They've just announced it, September 28th of next year, 2025. And remember, they've been trying really hard to make sure that the AfD can't run in that election. They are hitting them with everything possible. I'm not German. It makes no difference to me who wins in this election, by the way. But I always want to report on this accurately, that they are really going after any party that is against the narrative. So this man tried to murder 8 people. I won't go into the details because it is absolutely brutal what happened. IS, Islamic State, took responsibility for this attack, and they said this was in retaliation for Western countries helping to kill Muslims around the world. That is the statement that came out. So quite interesting about this background to this Syrian man then. So Der Spiegel reported he arrived in Germany in 2022 and requested asylum. However, under European asylum rules, he was supposed to be Bulgaria's responsibility, so the first country you sort of land in properly. So German authorities tried to transfer him to Bulgaria in June of 2023. That's a long time after, but anyway, but he then went into hiding. However, no warrant for his apprehension was issued as he was apparently deemed harmless. There was also a logistical consideration, as Germany was essentially out of space to hold any detainees. By August of last year, the transfer deadline has passed, and he was Germany's problem. Rather than arresting and deporting him, the country decided to grant him protection and moved him to this area where this festival was, where he carried out the attack on Friday. So now you've got scenes of what they're calling the far right extremists. And they said that they are looking to follow similar plans to what the UK followed. Good luck with that in Germany. I think we might see something different from what's happening in the UK. Now, also what's happening in the UK, I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. We've got to get on to what happened at a festival over the weekend. People don't like it when I cover this, but we're going to have to talk about what happened at this festival over the weekend. Absolutely unbelievable, some of the things that took place. No statements whatsoever. No 50 police officers. In fact, I'm going to go straight into it. There were 8 people stabbed. There were 334 arrests, 50 police officers injured, some seriously, in mainly peaceful scenes. Sorry, wait, let me read that again. 8 stabbed, 334 arrests, 50 police officers injured, some seriously, in mainly peaceful scenes. This stuff annoys me, as you know. I get really annoyed by this. Most of the arrests were for possessing weapons ranging from firearms to knives and one corrosive substance. There were also 8 stabbings and 275 arrests at the 2023 event. This is what the event was. See, if I can't even talk about this. People say, last year my video got reported and all sorts because it's the Notting Hill Carnival. So apparently I'm not even allowed to talk about this carnival. Don't ask me why. But that's what happened last year. So we won't go into too much of that, but that's the event basically, and that's where all this took place. You've seen one thing on the BBC, but you're not seeing, and Keir Starmer didn't even, in fact, I tell you, there was no comment actually from him about this. In fact, he doubled down on the far right for scenes not seen in a generation. And people say there's no bias at all. And, there's no two-tier policing. There's no bias, really. Another thing that's just come out today, there's only 100 places left in male prisons in the UK. I was reading through this, just shaking my head as I'm reading. The number of spare prison places in male jails has fallen to just 100 now. The Ministry of Justice has already activated Operation Early Dawn. So this is where prisoners are kept in police cells or anywhere they can at the moment if there's no jail spaces available. The problems have been worsened by a surge in arrests over the bank holiday weekend. See, they don't say what this was from. They just say it's from the bank holiday weekend. It was the Notting Hill Carnival. That's what it was. Sources suggested MOJ officials are confident they will manage without having to activate further emergency measures known as Operation Brinker. So it looks like Operation Brinker will go into effect. It's never before in British history been used. And this is where police officers hold suspects in cells for longer than usual and often have to drive them around in the vans to find other places to keep them. This is completely legit, by the way. Not making it. You could read any of this for yourself because some of you will be going, no, this can't be true. It's actually true. They're also looking to operate a one-in, one-out system. Police fear if Operation Brinker is introduced, it could limit their ability to arrest suspects as they run out of police cells backed up with people who should be in jail. They're currently being held in custody for offences including assault, possession of guns, knives or drugs, drug dealing, sex crimes. Officials believe some of those arrested will be released on bail rather than remanded, freeing up spaces. Sorry, let me just add, this here's from the weekend, the Notting Hill Carnival. This is what these people are being held for. And it says many of them will be released on bail rather than remanded. Shabana Mahmood, the Justice Secretary, has introduced an early release scheme from September the 10th that will see thousands of prisoners freed only 40% of the way through their sentence rather than now halfway. They said that there just isn't enough space and they still need to prosecute all these far-right extremists from the last few weeks. So what they're going to do is they're going to release people from prison in order to put these far-right extremists into I can't even say it without laughing. People posting on Facebook and all this other stuff. See, that's who they need to get in. And then there's this big campaign that's just come out. And the campaign says that far-right extremists are spreading misinformation that we're needing to empty the prisons to put these people into prison. And it's just not true. And then the article ends. So people read that and go, oh, there you go. It's just not true. It's expected that these new plans are going to reduce the prison population by 5,500 people over the next 6 weeks. And they're going to be making room for more arrests and prosecution. When are they going to build some more prisons, you ask? I don't know. I really don't know. But let's go over to, and again, just to prove to you, so this is Keir Starmer. He had a lot to say about the protests, not just the riots, but the protests. What's he saying? He's saddened to hear someone's passed away. He's going to fix some stuff in the country. He's going to fix the foundations. That's it. The government serves you. No mention whatsoever of the event over the weekend. And look, most of it is peaceful. Most people are there peacefully. I'm not picking, a fight with anyone, an argument with anyone, or trying to single any groups out or anything like that. What I'm saying is this was a serious event, and there's almost no mention, and there's no, they're just not treating it the same as some of the other things. But what they have put in the press today, how Labour could raise taxes as Starmer admits budget will be painful. What are they saying here? He's warned that Labour's first autumn budget will be painful, fearing unpopular tax rises. So this is one thing. There's going to be tax rises. They said there's just not enough money and they need to raise billions. Well, I know where they could raise billions right away, and that's stopping sending weapons, but that's not going to happen. Chancellor Rachel Reeves has already confirmed her statement will bring fresh tax rises. As she said, more needs to be done to fill the government shortfall. The reasoning was repeated by the Prime Minister, as he needed $22 billion to plug the gap. And of course, he's blaming it on Conservatives. The announcements come after she said all these cost measures. Now, what are they going to do for cost-saving measures? They're going to save a little bit of money by taking money away from pensioners, winter fuel payments. Yeah, that's not going to result in any deaths, is it, among pensioners? Of course not, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to turn the heating off, and also infrastructure projects. By the way, they've gone after the Telegram founder we talked about yesterday. They are going after him hard in the media at the moment. Should see all the stuff. He had 100 children. This guy is a serial whatever. No, it's not true. You should read these articles. They're just coming up with all sorts of nonsense. But this is what they're saying. They're going to raise all these taxes and cut costs. They're blaming it all on the last government as well. But I want to move over to the US. Really important. We've known this all along. 2 years ago, you remember Mark Zuckerberg. He said that the FBI pressured Facebook to censor the Hunter Biden laptop story. So we knew this, but now he's come out and everyone's like, oh yes, Mark, you're such a great guy. Look, he's come over to our side. No, he hasn't. What's actually happening? Let's be honest about this. He is worried that the government is about to flip in November. So now he's coming out and saying, oh yeah, we were under all this pressure, and we should never have done this in the first place. We just gave in to the pressure and we censored all this stuff, and we're sorry about it now. He's not sorry. Have you seen the guy? He's a robot. He's not sorry. You should see what was said about all of this. He's participating in a congressional investigation. He wrote a letter admitting that senior Biden admin officials pressured Facebook teams to suppress information related to COVID-19 that the platform would not have otherwise censored. And the admin expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. He said now he should not have compromised its standards due to pressure from any admin in either direction. I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it. I also think we made some choices that, with the benefit of hindsight, we wouldn't make today. He's also committed and ready to push back if something like this happens again. So, gosh, it's unbelievable. And then what was his excuse for censoring the laptop story then? Well, he said that he was told by the FBI that there was some sort of Russian collusion story, and that disinformation, here it is, Russian disinformation, and he just couldn't, he couldn't check this out. So there was nothing he could do. He just waited and waited until he got replies. Now, you think that's bad? Well, look what California's just announced. They've just announced this new project. Here it is. It's a partnership with Google and Meta to fund local newsrooms in California and launch a government AI program. If you're in California, firstly, why? Apart from the beautiful, I know it's beautiful weather and easy living, but it's going to get worse. 250 million, 175 million from taxpayers. So if you're a taxpayer in California, you're paying for this, by the way. They're going to provide financial support to newsroom. Honestly, you can't make this stuff up. Get ready for this. This $1 million fund will be managed by UC Berkeley School of Journalism. Oh, I bet that's going to be unbiased, quite quite neutral. It's about as left-leaning as you can possibly get. So they're going to be looking after it all. They're going to be hiring all these new journalists to make sure that the news is better. That you just can't believe what's going on. They're going to be supporting hundreds of new journalists, reinforcing the vital role of journalism in our democracy, really, in the democracy. And talking of democracy, there's anger. Macron may be impeached, finally, after he rejects France's left-wing government win. So he's not willing to name the government. So they're saying that they may have to somehow get rid of him. And there's some pretty serious talk here, everything from impeachment, he's ignoring the election results. What else have they said? The coalition, where is it? The LFI reacted with fury. They said it's an unacceptable and anti-democratic coup. The LFI leader as well called for a firm and strong response by the public and politicians, including the motion of impeachment. You had the Communist Party leader called for a grand popular mobilization. Even the Green Party leader said the people must get rid of Macron. I can agree with that. For the good of democracy, he is chaos and instability. Wow, what a massive roundup of just insane news today, ladies and gents. That's you up to date. I will see you again tomorrow. Take care. God bless.